Hello, wonderful teachers, and welcome to this tutorial on some of the more advanced things that we can do with quizzes. Now, first off, let me scroll down to a quiz and explain a little bit of what we're doing. You see, you know how sometimes you have something for a while and then you realize you can do something new with it? Well, that's where I am with this. So we actually can do a little bit more to control the weighting of questions inside of a quiz. Who knew? So to do that, the first thing you need to do, of course, is go into a quiz where you want to do this. Or if you want to go ahead and create a quiz, go ahead and do so, and then you can either continue to watch this video so that way you can see what to do, or see how to set up the quiz and then move on to this. In either case, you're good to go. So first off, I'm going to come down here to Edit Quiz. And as you can see, since this is a quiz I've already created, I've already populated it with questions. Now, as you can see, it just looks the normal way. And the nice thing about the ELC is that it's smart. So it looks at this whole situation and goes, you know what? There are 3 questions. And I'm going to make each one of them worth 1. So the weighting's the same on each question. Maximum grade is 10. That's what the person put in. So I'm just going to divide this up equally. So if a student gets 2 of the questions right, each one of the questions is worth roughly 3.33% of the grade. Now, obviously we don't use decimals, so it goes ahead and rounds it appropriately, but you know what I mean. It figures it out. Now, one of the things that we can do, though, that we just discovered that we can do, which is totally awesome, is you can actually adjust how much each question is worth. So say, for instance, you have a variety of different kinds of questions that you want to do on a quiz. You use quizzes a lot on the ELC, and you really want to take advantage of some of the different things that you can do. Well, one of the things you can do is actually edit how much each one of these questions is worth. So the cool thing is that it's very easy to do. We just come over here to this little edit pencil, click on it, type in the number you want this question to be worth, and then hit enter. And there we go. It figures it out. And so now this question right here is worth twice as much as these 2 questions. So when a student gets this one right, then it's basically half of the potential grade, if that makes sense. Now, you might be like me. And if you are, you look at this and go, oh Lord, what is going on here? Math-wise, I don't want to figure this out. So there basically are a couple of different ways to think about this. The first way is maybe you know that one of the questions is a lot harder. Maybe you have matching. Maybe you have an essay question and you just want to make it worth a little bit more than the others. And you know you just want it to be worth a little bit more. You can always just add the number in like this. Or if you're like me and you look at that and go, oh no, this is not going to work. I don't even understand exactly how these grades are going to come out. Then you can go with plan B, which basically would be to adjust the weighting on all of these questions so that they reflect the same as the maximum grade. Now the cool thing is the ELC also tells us how many marks there are. The marks are just these, the weighting basically of each question. And then it figures out marks, maximum grade, here's what your grade is. So one of the other things that we can do, besides just changing one of them or a couple of them just to show that they're worth a little bit more, is we can also click on the edit button for all of them and adjust what they should be. So in this case, we now have 5 marks. So basically, this is worth 4, this is worth 4, this is worth 2 points out of the grade, out of our 10. Or if you're really like me, then you go, let's see. 3 questions. Let's make this worth 6. Or maybe worth 8. Save. And then if, for example, I want this question to be worth more, I can click this, make it worth 4, and voila. It equals 8 up here and 8 up here, and I don't have to do math to figure it all out. So like I said, there really isn't a wrong way to do it necessarily. It's just an option to help you figure out if you want questions to be weighted because they're different. If there's a lot more to one, if you have essays questions, which are always more complex than other kinds of questions, then you can use these. Now, one other thing that you might want to do if there is a spread as far as the points go, is maybe get students a heads up about it. So if we want to do that, we can actually just edit the question. I'm going to click the edit cog, come in here, and this isn't worth 2 points anymore. It's worth 4. So I can just spell it out right here, just plain text in part of the question, and then hit Save Changes, and it'll save it. Now let me show you what it looks like from a student's point of view, because you get some kind of cool stuff going on here. So I'm going to hit Preview. And in this case, as you can see, we have each question is on a different page. So if I'm looking at this, I obviously see the question, I see the answer, and I also see the marks out of how many. So this is out of 2 marks. Basically, it's worth essentially 2 points if you want to think of it that way. If I were to go to the next question, we have the same thing, 2. The last one, remember we made this one 4? Well, it shows 4 right here. It also shows 4 here where I typed it in just as part of the question, so that way students are really sure to catch that this one's an important one. If you're going to miss one, you definitely don't want to miss this one because this one counts for more. So it's just another way that we can communicate with students to let them know what's going on. Now sometimes it's very obvious. I mean, imagine for a moment I have a matching question here instead, and there's 5 of them because it's one of my vocabulary quizzes I do with English, and I have 2 questions and they both have 5 matching parts. I could just have it be worth 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty obvious for students. However, if it's not so obvious, it might be a good idea to communicate how many points just so that there's fewer questions. It makes it a little bit more clear. After all, if there's one thing that I've learned over the years, there's no such thing as over-communicating, only under-communicating. Okay, so there might be over-communicating, but we haven't found that point yet. Anyways, that's basically how this whole thing works. It's pretty cool. And just in case you wanted to see the place again, Edit Quiz, and here they are right here. So if you have any questions, you need any help, or you'd like to talk over quizzes with me, I am always here for you guys. Have a wonderful week.